Hi there, this video is designed to show you how to remove the front forks from a GL1200 Aspencade. Please watch the video right the way through, because there are some bits I've sort of doubled back on myself and corrected myself on the video. So please watch it all the way through. A few weeks ago I had the front fork seals replaced, but unfortunately one of them is leaking again. Bike's only done about 300 miles, so I'm not quite sure why it's leaking. That's something to investigate. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is let all the air pressure out of the front forks. If I push the button, you'll see the air pressure come up on the screen. So there's your air pressure. We're on 3 bars there. Okay, if you haven't increased or decreased the air pressure before, it's quite simple. You've got front and rear. So we're going to hold the front in, and then you've got increase, decrease. So it's front, decrease. You may not be able to hear that. It's very quiet. Now, although you won't be able to hear it, you will be able to see the gauge going down. So I'm about to start lowering now. So you see it's already down to just 1 bar. Keep it in. That's it. Just keep going until you can hear all the air has come out. Okay, although I'm going to replace both seals, it's only the one leaking, which is the left hand side. So if I just wipe that round with a tissue, you can see on there the leakage. As I say, I'm not quite sure where it's leaking. Everything seems nice and smooth on the forks. As far as I know, there's nothing catching. Nothing should have split, but I won't know that till I've got it apart. Okay, a little bit of freehand here on the camera. You notice I'm using a car jack and a bit of wood just to lift the bike off the floor, so you can see the wheels off the floor there. Nicely positioned bit of wood just so there's not a metal to metal. Okay, the equipment needed to remove the front wheel is 8mm Allen key for that bolt there, 12mm socket for this bolt here, 14mm socket for the 2 bolts on the end of the fork, and then a Phillips screwdriver. You can't see it, but there's a screw in behind the speed sensor, so you need to undo that screw, take the speed sensor off. Okay, first things first, I have loosened these off, so that's that one out, and then that's that one out. When you loosen it off, I suggest you loosen this second bolt off as well, just to give that a bit of flexibility. That's now off. Need to unclip. Let's move the camera up a bit. Need to just unclip the hose from the frame. There we go. And the caliper is now off. Okay, couldn't really show you the screw, but you'll see this is now loose and will just slide off. I've also undone these bottom 2 nuts in order to take the light off. And what I'm going to do for the minute is just take the light off, but put the nuts and washers back on, just to hold the wheel in place. Right, now we're going to take the wheel out, so undo both the nuts either side. When you lift the bottom bit off, I don't know how well this will show, but there's an arrow and a letter F. That needs to be facing the front. So it goes back on, facing the front. Okay, I'm taking the weight of the wheel with the handle of the Allen key there. So we're going to come up and again just simply undo these 2. Oh, the washer's just done a runner. I'll get that back in a minute. Undo this one. Now when I slide this one off, be careful you don't pinch your fingers. If you see my thumb there, That's what I did last time I took these off a couple of weeks ago. So I'm just going to use a screwdriver, just gently prise that apart. There we go, you'll see the wheel drop down there. Okay, just realised one problem. When the wheel drops down, don't know if you can see it, you'll see it's touching the metal bracket in there. The metal bracket is held on by two 10mm bolts, one here, one at the back. So with 10mm spanner, just need to take both of those bolts out on both sides of the wheel. Okay, now I've undone those two bolts, and now I can remove the front chrome bars. There you go, they are now off. And I should also be able to remove the front fender. Looks like the front fender is easier to come out backward than forward. Yes, front fender comes out backward. There you go. The wheel can now just be rolled out from the front. Okay, now we need to remove the crosser member going between the two forks. That's this bit here. You've got 4 bolts, 2 each side. You've got the caps, which I've just loosened off. The caps just lift off. And then you've got a 6mm Allen key bolt, front and back on both sides. Okay, now all 4 bolts are undone, so that will just lift out. Does appear, if you look, it's goes down slightly at the back, so I'm assuming that's put it back on that way. So with the cut out towards the back. So that's now out, so both the forks now are completely separate entities. Okay, looking directly upwards from the bottom of the forks, you have a plate here which is normally held on by 2 screws. I've just undone the screws. That plate needs to be undone. I can't find a way of actually taking it off completely, but what you need to do is fold it down as far as you can. And then what we do, we come and have a look with the camera, we come and have a look up at the inside. Okay, this bit might be a bit wobbly, I'm doing the camera by hand. Coming up the forks, you'll see you have 2 bolts, if I can show you here. One there, one just above. You've got, trying to get light on it, 1, 2. We're going to need to undo both of those and the same on the other side, 1, 2. But before we undo these, we need to undo the top ones, which you don't know if you can see right at the very top there. I'll show you those from the top of the bike. Again, apologies if this is a little bit shaky. We're now looking down from the handlebars. We've got the top of the fork here, and you'll see the bolt there where my finger's touching. We need to undo that bolt and the bolt on the other side. So we're going to undo the top 2 bolts first, and then we go back under the bike and undo the bottom 2. Okay, we're back to handheld camera at the moment. Having undone the top bolt and the 2 lower bolts, you'll see the fork is now dropped down, a lot lower than this one. Let it drop down about 1.5 inches and then tighten one of the bolts back up here to hold it in that position, and I'll show you why. Okay, I don't know how well this is going to show, and again apologies for the camera being handheld. So here's the 2 bolts we're undoing. We've let the fork come down about 1.5 inches, and if you can see, I'm not sure what I can show you, you just see a line up just about where my finger is. There's a line. That is actually a spring clip that goes round the fork. That needs to come out, and it does quite easily push out. You can push it out with your fingertips. That needs to come out because that will prevent the fork coming any lower than this bit here, this lower yoke. So that needs to come out. Okay, here's the spring we were just talking about, and as you can see, it's a split pin. So literally that just opens, slides off the top of the fork. Okay, now I've undone the 2 bolts again. The fork will completely slide out. Now I haven't emptied these forks of oil, so I've got to try and keep this as upright as possible. There you go. Try and move it away from the camera a bit. The fork is now out. Okay, back to a handheld camera. You can see now both forks are out. The second one, exactly the same procedure. Undo the top bolt, undo the two lower bolts, let it drop down about 1.5 inches. Make sure you control it because it will want to drop straight out. So just let it go down gently. Do the bolt back up. Take the ring out the groove. Undo it, just like slapping the bolt off, and out it will slide. Okay, thanks for watching this video, and hopefully it will help somebody.